Hello and welcome to Animal Watch, and this week we're training wolves and wolf dogs.
Today I will be talking about if it's possible to train a real full-blood wolf and the techniques used. I'll also be meeting one of the UK's top wolf dog trainers who supplies wolf dogs to the film and advert industry. Can we tame the wild? These experts will show you how it's done. The wolf. Wild, free, and independent. All recipes for disaster when it comes to training. Or is it? Often seen in movies such as Game of Thrones and Wolf Totem, it has been proven that with a certain technique of gentle and positive training, it is possible to work alongside these beautiful animals who deserve a high level of kindness and respect. Khaled, a famous dog trainer from Iraq, wowed the internet with his astounding video on socialising a wild, aggressive wolf who was not keen on being with humans. He saved him from the exotic pet trade and decided to give him a home. But in order to do this, he needed to teach the wolf to trust him and to be touched by humans. Take a look at this astounding video. As you can see in this video, Khaled was very gentle with the wolf and used positivity to coerce him into accepting him. He spent ages simply sitting with the wolf and tolerating his nips and bites and rewarded him when the behaviour was acceptable. Eventually the wolf came around and followed him exactly like a dog would. Not once did Khaled hurt him, he simply showed him that he wasn't going anywhere. So a combination of leadership and gentleness eventually won the respect of the wolf and they became friends. He named him Ronnie. So what about high and mid-content wolf dogs? How easy is it to train them, and what are the kind techniques used that will win them over in both body and mind? Today I am visiting one of the UK's top wolf dog trainers, Natalie Lagstrom of Watermill Wolves, who not only trains dogs and wolf dogs of all types, but prepares them for roles in TV, movies and for events such as weddings and cosplay festivals. Full-blood wolves are very hard to train for the movies due to their nerves. So a good alternative are wolf dogs, as not only do they look very similar to wolves, but their dog DNA makes them far easier to train and makes them far more confident.
Hey, hi.
Hi, lovely to see you.
Hey, look who we've got here.
You want to come in?
Of course I want to come
on in, come on in.
Hey.
I was introduced to some of Natalie's lower content film wolf dogs, James Bond, Grey, and Alice. And her mid-content Frosty Bear, who was in the process of confidence building. I was then treated to a welcome howl from Winston, the high-content black wolf dog I had filmed before. I howled back to him. His leadership quality reverberated around the grounds, and every other wolf dog joined in the melodious chorus. I had previously filmed Winston, her high-content wolf dog, 2 years ago. And it's fun to watch the difference in greetings between high and lower content wolf dogs, as you can see here. Winston is a very confident high content multi-generational wolf dog, and I had a fair amount of nose bops, which is totally normal and okay, as long as you don't get one hard in the nose, which can make your eyes water.
Hi, I'm Natalie Largstrom and I am head trainer here at Watermere Wolves Wolf Dogs. We train wolf dogs for acting and educational purposes, and we also help people with their pet dogs and their pet dog training and behaviour problems too.
First of all, we were to be treated to some on-set film training by her handsome and confident star, Mr. James Bond, who was very keen to show us what talents he had.
So this here is Mr. Bond, and he is one of our many stars here, but I think he'd like to think of himself as the biggest star of the show. And today we're going to go over some of the fun little tricks and stunts and things that he does as part of his role acting, pretending to be a wild wolf on television. So one of the first things I'm going to show you today is one of the acting staples, which is going and stopping at a mark. Wait. Wait, mark and wait, wait. Very good, good puppy bear. So another thing that we have to do with wolf dogs is, of course, make them look a little bit mean. They always have to play the big bad wolf, even though, as you can see, they're soft and gentle as anything most of the time. So we actually teach them to pretend to make funny faces and to snarl, but it's all a fun game for them. It's just something that they do. It's part of play behaviour. It actually starts just like you might teach any normal play bark to any dog, so you teach that first, and then what you're looking at doing is you're looking for the natural variance that the dog gives you, and if he happens to do a bark that's a little bit more wrinkly in the nose, then he gets an extra special treat. Another thing, of course, that they have to do is actually attack people, and of course, again, you can see they're very, very friendly. It's not something that they naturally are going to do. So what we actually do is we teach them to jump up in a very, very specific way when we ask, to a visual signal that we give them, which actually in this case is an arm raise. We want them to be comfortable doing this precisely when we ask, not when we don't want it. That's the important thing. And we also want to make sure that if we pretend that we're being attacked, that they're not going to get frightened or distressed by that. So we do a lot of practice to teach them to be comfortable with that sort of thing and have quite a laugh, and you'll get to see my incredible acting skills. Mr. Bond. Good lad, good boy, good boy. Oh no, help, help, I'm being attacked. Ah, good boy, Mr. Bond, good boy. Oh, he's got me, oh no. Good boy, good boy, good man. There's a good man.
We were then introduced to Frosty Bear, who was a classic example of a mid to higher content wolf dog, who needed to be trained carefully and gently due to being more nervous than the average dog.
The next thing we're going to have a little look at is the sort of basic training that you can look at doing with a novice dog. We first got to establish a bit of a rapport and a reward basis. So for him, I say, what's this? And that means I want him to pay attention and he's going to get a little reward from me. Anything that we teach, you follow the same basic principle of what they call ABC. You ask, you get the behaviour, and you give the cash. So the next important thing to be able to do is to teach your dog to actually walk closely alongside you. The goal is actually for me to try and talk to him and encourage him and lure him and really use the lead as little as possible. Dogs don't naturally respond to leads. They feel very threatened by pressure. Frosty, come and steady. Good, steady, good boy. Frosty, this way. What's this? Oh, good man. And steady. Good boy. Frosty, this way. What's this? Good boy. Good man. So the next thing we're going to have a little work on is this idea of leaving things alone. It's very tempting to get negative in trying to make them give things back, and we have to think, well, actually, have you taught them constructively that it's in their best interest to be patient, and if they wait, that they will get something good? Wait, leave, wait, wait. And I really want him to wait on a nice slack lead. I'm going to reward him for leaving that be. Good boy. Wait. Good. Wait, Frosty Bear. Very good boy. Wait. Let me pick it up. Very important. We don't want him to race us to catch the food. What a very good man. Very good boy. So what we're going to do now with Frosty Bear is actually introduce him to Annika in a positive way. The idea is it's always important that this is done on the dog's terms, so it's important that he feels in control. So whenever you have an animal that's a little bit reserved, it's always about encouraging them to come to you. Frosty, what's this? Good boy, good boy. Good boy. Very good boy, Frosty. Very good boy. The first time you say hello to a dog and you want to actually get some physical contact, keep one hand like a saucer as you feed. So Frosty, as he's eating, I start to scratch him under the chin. And that's how he begins to get used to contact with strangers.
Finally, we decided to throw in a bit of agility with Winston from 2 years ago, just to show you how wolf dogs can also be trained to do agility.
Sit. Good boy. Wait. Wait. Winston. Up, 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 up. Good boy. Seesaw. Hop. Hop. Yay, go up.
As I mentioned before, wolves and wolf dogs can be seen appearing in many dramas, films and adverts on TV. One very famous wolf star being Quigley, who played the huge white direwolf Ghost in Game of Thrones. He was used initially for some scenes in the earlier episodes, but was replaced by animation later on, as his owner and trainer Andrew Simpson of Instinct Animals thought it stressful for the wolf to travel to Ireland. Just to highlight this point, Andrew Simpson decided to raise an entire pack of Mongolian wolves in Mongolia for over 3 years for the film Wolf Totem, as he felt that it was the only way to have wolves feel safe and have confidence on the film set without the stress of travel, by filming them exactly where they were born and raised with humans. To discuss the careful and kind way us humans need to train and socialise wolf dogs, Natalie sat down with me to chat about why, even as a pet, it is important that you understand how to treat and train a wolf dog kindly and correctly as you raise them as a puppy. Mistreating one of these sensitive animals can have great consequences that many people are unable to come back from. So best it is done correctly the first time around.
Somebody has decided to get one as a pet, and we hope to God they're the right person for the dog. What do they need to do, in your experience, that would make that puppy feel at home and also preempt any problems that a wolf dog would present that a normal breed won't present.
Because of their capability and their intelligence, the degree to which they can do things is often a lot more extreme. A Jack Russell might chew your table leg. A wolf dog, if he decides to chew your sofa, you're not even going to have a wooden frame left. And I've had that with my very first wolf dog. The first time I decided to leave him unattended and I popped to the shop for 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
15 minutes, and I came back and there was a wooden frame where my sofa had once been, and every bit of fabric, there was about a foot of snow over the whole room. God. The degree of damage that they can do is so much more significant, and you can't get upset about it. It's going to happen to some extent. If you're house proud, don't get a wolf dog. They are going to be wanting to do something all the time that they're awake. If you're not entertaining him, he's going to be finding ways to entertain himself, and that will essentially be using your house and the items in it for his own pleasure. It's about teaching things such as appropriate games. How do you play with people? What objects do you play with? Lots of people get very focused and saying, don't chew this, don't chew that, you mustn't go over there. Actually, what you have to do to begin with is all day long be picking up toys and going, look at this, isn't this amazing, isn't this fun? So before anything inappropriate becomes a habit, diversion is by far your best tactic. Just pick up something they should have, they should be chewing instead, and engage their attention in that. You don't wait for a mistake. So you have to assume, if you're going to leave the room to make yourself some dinner, that you're leaving that puppy unsupervised. You have to do something about that. Either bring the puppy with you, make sure the puppy's got something that they're definitely interested in. The thought of anybody trying to raise a wolf dog without having safe and secure enclosures for them is almost impossible, because you can't cater to them 24 hours a day. If you tried to, you'd actually just make them quite spoilt in their personality. Quite frankly, when you're taking on something like a wolf dog, you have to treat it in the same way as a child, from the point of view of the amount of time that goes to put in. You'd never think of having a baby in your home and leave it unsupervised. If you were going to go out, you'd have a babysitter.
Yeah, of course you would.
And actually, with a very young, certainly with some of the higher content animals, you have to make sure that you've got a support structure around you of people willing to interact and engage. You really want somebody that the wolf dog knows and trusts to look after them while you're away. And you have to think, even if you're not planning on going on holiday, you don't know, you might have to go into hospital or anything might happen. So I think it's always important that people have backup plans.
Yeah. The higher content ones in particular like to take things and they make it their own.
Be prepared. Make sure there is nothing they can get their mitts on, because by the time they've stolen something in a way, the damage is done. The natural instinct of the animal in that scenario is to protect what's theirs and to assume that you're there to cause a confrontation. So what you have to do is disagree with his analysis that it's a confrontational situation. I've had Winston steal things that he shouldn't have done, and actually the worst thing you can do is go, bad boy, because that instantly tells him, I'm here to confront you, and that's just going to create escalation. Start with a much more positive approach. What a good boy, Winston, what have you got there? Oh, what a clever man, do you want to bring that to me? And actually, because I've done an awful lot of play interaction with him, and engagement, and bring me things and you can have things, there's a good chance that might start to work. The other thing, and this is again where preparation is the most important factor, have something pre-prepared. For Winston, there is something that will trump everything else, and it's a particular kind of sausage. And he has a cue word for it, so that even if I don't actually have it to hand, he knows that we're going to run and go and get it. Tackling fear and how you tackle fear is very, very important. We hear a lot about socialisation and we think this means exposure. Put the wolf dogs in all of these different situations, show them this and this and this and this and this, and they're going to get used to all of it. If you push an animal in the deep end and it gets stressed and overwhelmed, that can actually do more harm than good. You have to put him in situations so that he's capable of learning that it's good, so that the negative feeling of the fear is not so strong that it overrides anything good that he can get out of the situation. And that is different and unique for every single animal. Essentially, for tackling fear, there are 3 tried and tested proven methods. So first off, we have this habituation, which is this just duration of exposure needs to be long enough. Secondly is this idea of gradual desensitization. So that's about increasing the extent of the exposure over time. So we start off by allowing the young animals to keep their distance and come forward very gradually as they feel safe to do so. The third, and this is where your training comes in, is what they call counter conditioning. Counteracting a behaviour or an emotion that you don't want with something that you do want. A lot of the fun, positive training that we do, teaching them to enjoy taking rewards, essentially that gives the dog alternatives rather than just being frightened. So it's that mix of habituation, gradual desensitization and counter conditioning. Those are the tools that you have to help you with your young wolf dog in teaching them how to accept and understand this strange world. The most important thing is be patient. You have to remember that things take time. You're developing a genuine bond that will last you a lifetime.
They bond with someone and a family for life, and that really does become their pack. So you take them and you put them into a dog home, that can actually wreck them.
A wolf, and a higher content wolf dog, is an extremely self-aware animal. They worry, they anticipate, they need to feel in control of the environment that they live in. So an animal that is so used to completely understanding the people that they live with, the environment that they're in, to lose that, it creates traumatic stress in the animal extremely quickly. Putting an animal like this in, say, a rescue kennel, it's very much like no explanation, random stranger comes up to you, kidnaps you, puts you in the back of a van and takes you off to a completely different life. Nobody tells you what's happening, nobody tells you what the future holds, you've just simply been kidnapped. And that's what you're putting your animal through if you can't actually commit to loving them and looking after them no matter what.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Animal Watch with the fantastic Natalie and all these beautiful wolfies. And make sure to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel by clicking the button in the bottom hand corner. And Natalie, what is your website if people need to find out more about the work you do?
watermillwolves.co.uk.
As the poster says behind us. I've had such a wonderful day today, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode too. And catch me next week when I'll be bringing you more fantastic episodes on dogs, wolves, animal rescue and conservation. Bye for now.